What if I told you there's a one-person RPG being compared to Disco Elysium, Baldur's Gate 3, Planescape Torment, and it only costs $25? Yes, you heard right. Today, I'm bringing you everything about Esoteric Ebb, its amazing qualities and its annoying ones, so you can decide for yourself if it's worth it. Let's start with the brutal. The world and the writing are on another level. Esoteric Ebb puts you in the shoes of a cleric who wakes up in a morgue with no idea who dumped him in the river in a city called Norvik, 5 days before the first choice in his story. And from the very first minute, the game makes you feel like you're experiencing something special. The writing is on a level that very few video games reach. Some are comparing it directly to Obsidian's best work. The world seems classic fantasy at first glance, but every new detail reveals a setting far stranger and more original than you'd imagine. From bizarre cosmology to a calendar where every month has a fantasy name except March. The voices in your head are the best part of the game. Like in Disco Elysium, your attributes, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma constantly talk to you. But here, things get even more interesting. Their personalities change depending on how many points you've invested in them. High intelligence sounds like a mad archmage who wants to restore the magical empires of the past. With few points, it's a dimwit who only responds, "I can't think of anything, sorry." Low strength becomes a servile authoritarian who demands you bow down to the powerful. That detail alone justifies the price of admission. The game's responsiveness is incredible. Every choice you make, the class you choose, your political alignment, the NPCs you help, the items you carry, has consequences the game anticipates. There's an achievement for solving the mystery without having set foot in the crime scene. You can steal from almost any important NPC. If you try to steal an undead knight's axe and fail the check, he grabs your hand and nearly snaps it, and then you have a special conversation with him. Now that's real reactivity. Combat is theater of the mind. The combat system is one of the most original ideas to appear in a CRPG in years. There are very few fights in the game, maybe 9 in total, but each one is like a D&D session with the best dungeon master in the world. Your spells matter, who you accompany matters, what dialogue you had beforehand matters. There's an early fight against an assassin on a bridge that can be solved by casting the grease spell to make the guy slip and fall. That's real D&D. The characters are memorable. Your main companion is Snell, a charming and competent goblin rogue with an understandable distrust of humans. You can also recruit Eder, a biblically accurate angel. She doesn't have normal eyes, she has a rotating halo filled with dozens of them. And if you pass a difficult enough charisma check, you can ask her out. The game has a cast full of lovable weirdos, conflicted and flawed, with only a few villains who are a joy to hate. The freedom of exploration and replayability are enormous. You have 5 in-game days to solve the mystery before the election. You can go in any order you like, take completely different paths, ally with different political factions, and see entirely different things on each run. A playthrough can last less than 10 hours if you go straight to the point, or expand to 30 hours if you explore everything. And according to those who have played it more than once, there are tons of hidden content that make it nearly impossible to see everything in a single playthrough. The art and music are a perfect match. The visual style, a blend of isometric 3D models with detailed 2D sprites for key characters, works surprisingly well. The 2D sprites convey more personality than the models in many games with budgets 10 times larger. The environments are bursting with color, and there are visual details that make you want to explore every nook and cranny, even the darkest corners underneath the city. Now, let's talk about the ugly. The interface is a mess, especially with the controller. Several reviewers agree. Esoteric Ebb's UI is cluttered and can be confusing. It's manageable on PC with a keyboard and mouse, but with a controller and the game has Steam Deck verification, the inventory becomes a nightmare. Multiple dialogue options or inventory slots light up simultaneously by mistake. Pathfinding with the analog sticks behaves erratically, and managing equipment when you need to pass a difficult check is infuriating. Bugs and typos. For a game that is essentially interactive literature, where reading is the core of the experience, there is an annoying number of typos. Furthermore, in the review version, there were at least 2 broken feats, abilities you unlock by completing quests. One didn't apply its effect correctly, and the other gave you a different feat than the one you selected. There are also documented quest progression bugs, including one with a quest item that can't be sold when it should be. The start is slow and might scare some people off. The game takes a couple of hours to really get going. At first, it can feel confusing, lacking clear direction, and if you're not patient, it's easy to quit before you get hooked. This is a real problem in a market where you need to grab the player's attention quickly. The lack of information in the quests can become frustrating. The game doesn't hold your hand at all. The quest tree exists but uses ambiguous terminology. There are no objective markers, and if you don't remember exactly what an NPC told you 2 hours ago, you're on your own. For some, this will be a blessing that forces you to pay attention. For others, it will be a huge barrier to entry. The combat isn't for everyone. The chaotic nature of the combat, no positioning, not much tactical manipulation, and a lot dependent on the randomness of the dice, can feel unfair when the dice aren't on your side. If you're coming in looking for the strategic turn-based combat of Baldur's Gate 3, you're in for a surprise. Here, combat is more absurdist theater than pure tactics. One lore detail that didn't quite work. In a lore book listing the world's peoples, all fictional, the Japanese appear at the end, described with a somewhat clumsy exoticism that clashes with the rest of the game, which handles themes of discrimination and humor with its storylines with the bird folk. It feels like an attempt at satire that simply didn't land. And that's all the brutal and ugly stuff about Esoteric Ebb. In short, if you love narrative RPGs, if you liked Disco Elysium, if you've ever wanted someone to truly capture the magic of sitting down to play D&D with friends, this game is for you. It has its flaws, yes, but what it does well, it does very well. And at $25, the price is no excuse not to give it a try. If you found this video helpful, you know what to do. Like and subscribe for more content like this. See you next time. Bye!